Welcome to class today. Today our focus is on being compassionate for ourselves and others and our world. I'm Miss Gray and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Starting class with a quote by the Dalai Lama. So as we find a position on our back, laying comfortably, maybe letting our hands rest on our belly, and either with our legs outstretched long or our knees up to the ceiling and letting them rest against each other, opening our feet out wide in a restorative bridge. Taking a few deep breaths and then thinking about these words from the Dalai Lama. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. So today we're cultivating some compassion. We're laying on our back, taking those deep belly breaths, and thinking about children. When children breathe, they breathe into their belly. If you've ever watched a little kid breathe, their belly expands and contracts. They take a deep fill of their lungs every time they breathe. And somewhere along the way, we tend to not breathe as deeply. We let go of those deep belly baby breaths. So today, bringing that into our practice. Maybe closing our eyes and feeling that expansion of our lungs. Shifting from our belly breath into a 3-part breath. Inhaling as we deep breathe into the belly, and then into the upper lobes of the lungs. And then inhaling to fill all space in our lungs. And then as we exhale, letting it all out slowly. Continuing that 3-part breath or 3-step breath. And at first, maybe starting with slow, distinct steps, and then seeing if we can start to zipper those steps together and make it fluid. Noticing how we're feeling today, connecting with our breath, doing our best to stay in the present moment, and letting go of our expectations, letting go of competition and judgment, and just being here now. Being compassionate with our bodies in today's practice, so not pushing anything if we feel like we're working extremely hard or something doesn't feel good, not pushing our body today, being compassionate with ourselves. Opening up our hands and drawing our knees into our chest, taking a big breath in. And as we exhale, wrapping our hands around our legs and rocking side to side. And then maybe making some small circles with our knees. Waking up our low back, making circles in the opposite direction. Coming back to center as we exhale, bringing one foot and the other back into the floor. We're moving into a flowing bridge. Inhaling as we tuck our pelvis and roll our hips to the sky. Exhaling as we come back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Our spine as a wave rolling up a beach and then receding back to the ocean. Gently lapping the shore. If we close our eyes and think about this wave, maybe we can smell the salt water. We can feel the sand beneath our feet. We can hear seagulls overhead. Recalling feelings of joy and happiness in the sunshine. Taking one more breath here, rolling up and down through our bridge. And then drawing our knees back in, wrapping our arms around our shins, giving ourselves a big hug again. And releasing our feet, we're going to make our way onto our side and then all the way over up to our hands and knees. With our hands under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. Moving into some sunbird. Inhaling as we press our foot up and arch our back. Exhaling as we point our toe, draw our knee into our nose. Inhaling up, exhaling around. So we're arching through the spine. Exhaling as we round. Taking one more breath here, and then returning that right knee to the floor, switching feet. Inhaling as we press the left foot up, arch through the spine, and then exhale, round the back, drawing our nose into our knee. Moving with our breath and the pace that we're breathing at. Taking one more breath here. Coming back down to our hands and knees. Pressing our hips over into our feet, extending our arms long and finding child's pose. Come over here, taking a moment for some self-compassion. What is something we love about ourselves? Breathing that in. Pulling in and coming to that feeling of love for ourselves. Growing our self-compassion so we can grow our compassion for others. Opening our wide fingertips, make starfish hands, and then lifting our thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Coming back to the thumb. And then lifting the palm of the hand up, so just the fingertips are on the floor. Exhaling as we come back down. As we breathe in, bringing our shoulders over our hands, shifting into a kneeling plank. Exhaling as we come back. Taking a flow here, coming forward and backward. Moving with our breath. Continuing on our flow. Coming in one more time. The next time our shoulders are over our hands, holding our kneeling plank, and just taking a half push-up. Exhaling as we come halfway down, inhaling as we push back up. Very gentle. Taking one more half push-up, and then exhaling back to child's pose, bringing these together. Inhaling as we bring our shoulders over hands. Kneeling plank, exhaling as we come halfway down. Inhaling as we push up, and exhaling as we come back. Taking one more flow down and up. Returning to our child's pose. Tucking our toes under our feet. And then unweighting our knees, lifting our hips and extending our legs long, finding a downward facing dog. And pedaling at our feet. We're hip distance apart with our feet and our shoulders. Maybe pressing both heels up and down a few times, feeling that length through the back of the legs. And then softening the knees, feeling the length through the upper body. Walking our feet into our hands. Softening our knees. And taking a gentle sway on the floor. Letting the fingertips drag along. Coming back to center, softening our knees. Inhaling as we circle sweep our arms, unhinge our hips. Coming to upright. Inhaling overhead into mountain. And then exhale as we bring our hands down by our hips, rolling our shoulders away back and down, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip distance apart. Our shoulders are turned forward with our palms open to the front of us. Breathing in a few times. And shifting our weight to the right and then to the left. Rocking gently side to side. If it feels good, we can always close our eyes. Coming back to center and rocking gently forward and backward. Or maybe choosing to move in a circle with our body. Engaging our proprioception, our vestibular nervous systems, helping us come online and be balanced. Coming back to center. Inhaling as we come up. As we exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips, coming into a chair. Pressing back with the hips, pulling in with the belly. Inhaling as we come back up. We have lots of arm options. We can keep our arms long. Or we can bring our hands into heart center. Holding them there or extending. We can make big sweeps with our arms as we come into our chair and out of our chair. Moving with our breath. Exhaling as we sit. Inhaling as we come back up into mountain. Taking one more flow in and out of chair. Exhaling as we release our arms down and turning along the long edge of our mat, opening up our feet, turning our toes out to the corners. Inhaling up, finding five-pointed star. And as we exhale, bending our knees over our toes, elbows over knees, finding moonflower. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Taking a flow up and down, moving with our breath. So it's okay if we're not breathing at the same pace that I'm breathing. Taking one more flow up and down through moonflower, and then hinging at the hips, maybe bringing the hands to the thighs, finding a flat back. Inhaling as we come back up, coming to sunflower. And if it feels okay, touching our thumbs overhead and then drawing a big circle with our arms, touching our pinkies below. Noticing where in our body, what muscles are engaging as we move through sunflower. And if this doesn't feel good, we can always move back to moonflower. Taking one more flow here. Exhaling down, we're going to step back up to the top of our mat and set up for our first sun salutation. So I'm going to choose a standing salutation today, but know we have options. You could always come to your knees and move through a kneeling plank, child's pose instead of down dog. So our feet are hip distance apart. We're taking a big breath in and up. Exhaling as we hinge at the hips, swan diving down to our forward fold. Stepping back with our right foot and either letting our right knee come to the floor or our right toes. Inhaling as we come up, finding a crescent lunge. Exhaling as we come down to the inside of the left foot and stepping back with the left foot, either finding down dog or child's pose. Breathing in as we come into a plank, either kneeling or full plank. Exhaling as we lower halfway down, and then inhaling as we press either into up dog or cobra. Tucking our toes, exhaling back down dog, child's pose. Inhaling as we sweep our right foot up, three-legged dog. Exhale as we bring it behind our right hand. Inhaling as we come up, finding our crescent lunge. Exhaling down, stepping in with our left foot. Hands on our shins as we come halfway up, monkey pose. Exhaling down, soften our knees. Inhale as we circle sweep, reverse swan dive. Coming into mountain and exhaling into chair. Inhaling up, taking one more sun salutation. This time stepping back with the left foot. We have all kinds of variations of sun salutations that we can come into. Moving with our breath. Finding the variation that feels good in our body today. Coming back into mountain. Exhaling as we bring our hands just outside our hips, rolling our shoulders back. Just taking a moment to roll the shoulders. Maybe hitting the right side and the left side. And then switching sides. Coming back to center. Inhaling as we reach up with the right arm, push down with the left. Find a little bit of lateral flexion. Exhaling down. Inhaling as we switch. Taking a gentle flow. Seeing how high can we reach? How low can we reach? Can we create some tension between our fingertips? Like a long rubber band is being stretched, fingertip to fingertip. And taking one more flow on either side. Coming back to center, stepping back with our left foot, opening up our hips to the corners and then inhaling up, exhaling as we sink over our right knee, knee over toe, and then turn our shoulders forward. So hips open, shoulders forward, finding warrior one. Interlacing our fingers and then pointing to the sky with our pointer fingers. Drawing some compassion in through the top of our head, down into our hearts. As we breathe into our warrior. Taking one more breath here, opening up the arms, fanning out, turning our left foot perpendicular as we find warrior two. With our thumbs up, inhaling as we reach forward, palm to palm, and exhaling as we imagine we grab a bow and arrow and release any tension, any worries we're carrying. We're going to grab them and put them on this imaginary bow and arrow, and then exhale through the mouth and let them go. What things can we release that no longer serve us? Taking one more flow front to back with our arms. And then turning our palms down, finding a full solid warrior two. Inhaling as we hinge forward, bringing our left hand overhead. Exhaling as we revolve back, reverse warrior. We're going to take a gentle flow between the side angle here and reverse warrior. Hinging at the hip, reaching the left arm high overhead. Exhaling as we bring the left hand back and the right hand up. Taking one more flow forward. The next time we're in side angle, keeping this hand overhead, and we're going to extend our right knee long, hinging a little bit forward, finding triangle, and then rotating our neck, looking up to that upper hand. And if we're feeling like we want a little extra challenge today, trying a revolved triangle, inhaling as we come down, our palms facing each other, shoulders down, and then inhale the opposite arm coming up, revolved triangle. Either one is fine, whichever one is feeling better today. Inhale as we come back down, lifting the left heel, scooping up and finding a crescent lunge. And as we exhale, hinging forward, we're going to keep our heel off the floor, interlace our fingers and find a chest expansion. Bowing our head, finding a humble warrior. Opening our heart. Feeling that tension through our feet, helping ground us. Releasing our hands, coming to the floor, and then stepping back with the left or the right foot, finding a down dog, either staying here, dropping into child's pose, or taking a vinyasa flow. A vinyasa flow is a half a sun salutation. We inhale into a plank, exhale down chaturanga, inhale back up into cobra or up dog, and then exhale back, returning to down dog. Taking a breath in, lifting the left leg up. Exhale as we sweep it forward by the left hand. Inhaling as we come up, dropping the right heel down and turning into our warrior one. So we're dropping the heel down, interlacing our fingers overhead, pointing to the sky, sinking into our left knee. Our right foot and hip are open. We're turning our shoulders in the same direction as our left foot. Breathing in that compassion for ourselves. I love and forgive myself. Taking one more breath here. Inhaling as we unleash the fingers and unwind the arms, turning the right foot perpendicular, sinking into our warrior two. Turning our thumbs to the sky, finding our same bow and arrow. Inhaling forward, reaching back and exhale as we release. Big deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth if it feels good or if we're particularly warm. I let go of that which does not serve me. Taking one more flow here. Turning our palms back down and moving to that gentle flow. Inhaling as we hinge forward, side angle. Exhaling as we come back, reverse warrior. Finding the side to side, a little bit of oblique crunch through either side. The next time we come forward, holding our side angle, extending our left knee, maybe hinging forward, finding our triangle. And then as we inhale, rotating our chin, looking up to our hand above us. And we have those options. We can stay here in triangle, or we can inhale down, take an exhale, and then on our next inhale, revolve our triangle, reaching back. Feeling that twist through the core, a little bit of challenge. And finding some compassion for ourselves. If it doesn't feel good, maybe we come back. Taking one more breath in our triangle. Exhaling as we bring our hand down, bending our left knee. And then inhaling up, finding our warrior or our lunge. Exhaling as we hinge forward, interlace our fingers, finding our humble warrior. Squeezing our shoulder blades together, opening through our heart. Taking one more breath. Exhaling as we release down. Stepping back with the left foot, finding our down dog, and taking any variation of vinyasa flow. We could do this on our knees. We can do it in a plank. We could also come to child's pose. Returning to our down dog. This time, lifting up the left leg. Inhaling up, exhaling as we bring it in. Reaching up. We're going to turn along the long edge of our mat and open up into our 5-pointed star. And take a moonflower or a sunflower, flowing down and up, or both. If one feels better, finding that space. And as we come down next time, holding our knees bent, turning our palms up as we find a goddess squat. Our knees are over our toes. Pointing forward, we're pulling in with the belly, or sinking down, our hips low. Trying a big breath in and maybe giving a big smile. All of the weight we're carrying, we're holding it in our hands right now. Take a big breath in, lift it up. And as we exhale, press it down, palms toward the floor, hinging forward and bringing our forehead toward the floor. We're going to turn our toes so that they're pointed forward and let our hands rest on the floor. We might want to adjust our stance, wider, narrower. We have lots of options. We could stay here in a standing straddle. We could drop to our elbows. We could drop to the top of our head. Wherever feels good, finding that stretch today. We want to be stretching through the insides of the legs, the back of the hamstrings, down through the hips. Gently walking heel toe into center. We're going to turn our heels so they're facing each other, our toes are turned out, and come all the way down into a squat, opening up our knees. Inhaling as we bring our hands together and taking an exhale through the mouth. We can stay here, or we can make this a little more dynamic. Inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we come back down. Taking one more flow up. Exhaling as release the arms, bring our feet back in underneath our toes, underneath our hips, toes and knees forward. Roll our shoulders back. And exhale through the mouth. Making fists with our hands, reaching behind us. Bringing the hands to the backs of the tops of the hips, and then squeezing our shoulders together. So we're opening up our heart, drawing a big breath in as we arch back and look up. Standing modified camel. Taking one last breath here, and let's inhale, come back to upright. Release our hands, shifting our weight into our right foot. And unweighting our left foot, opening up our hands, palms forward, and then drawing our heel into our ankle, finding a very gentle tree. If this feels okay, we could always come into our calf or up into our inner thigh. Remember, today we're being compassionate. We're going to let go without extra work or cranking of our hands. Can we just find this space? We have lots of options for our arms and tree. We can cactus, we can be tall, we can come to heart center, any variation that feels good in our tree. If we're feeling unbalanced, imagine roots growing through our right foot into the floor, bringing us tall, helping support and stabilize. Taking one last breath here. Inhaling as we bring our knee back to center, reaching up overhead, extending our leg out. Exhaling as we step back down to earth, feet hip distance apart. Roll our shoulders away back and down and close our eyes. Let our right and left sides readjust. When we're ready, shifting our weight into the left leg. Unweighting our right foot and bringing that heel in by our ankle, opening up the knee, maybe dragging the foot up to the calf or the inner thigh. Finding tree on the opposite side, and any variation that feels good. It feels strong. We can draw that support in through the roots of our foot. Breathing in. Taking one more breath here. Our next inhale, bringing our right knee forward. Exhaling as you release the foot down, coming back down to earth, closing our eyes, just letting our body readjust. Taking one more breath here, inhaling as we come up, exhaling. We're going to bring our feet together and come into a chair. Hinging forward, bringing our hands into our heart center. And we have lots of options today. We can either lift our heels and finding a balancing chair, squeezing through the legs, or we can keep our heels down. And as we inhale, draw our right elbow to our left knee, finding a twisting chair. Inhaling back to center, exhaling as we twist. Whichever variation feels better in our body today. Taking an equal amount of twists from side to side and then coming back to center, setting our heels back down if they're up, and then finding a deep chair. If it feels good, reaching out, opening up our feet again, hip distance apart. Feeling that work in the back of our legs. Inhaling as we unhinge, coming down, reaching forward, softening our knees and coming back to our hands and knees, finding a flat back and moving through some cow and cat breaths. Inhaling as we arch our back, looking up. Exhaling as we tuck our hips and round our spine back up. Flowing through our spine. And then we're going to interlace our fingers and let our pinkies stay long, connected on the floor. So we're extending our pinkies, but our other fingers are interlaced. So our head can go right in between our elbows, not actually touching the floor, just hovering. And then tucking our toes, pressing our heels down, lifting our hips and extending our legs for finding dolphin. And we can stay here in dolphin, or we can take our dolphin and flow, swimming dolphin. Inhaling as we bring shoulders over elbows, finding a plank, exhaling as we come back. And again, we have options. We could always be on our knees for our dolphin. We could always hold. Taking one more flow front to back. Softening our knees down, releasing our hands, and then pressing our hips back to our feet, finding extended child's pose. Walking our fingertips away, feeling that stretch through our shoulders and upper body. Let's press our palms down and move on to our belly. Keeping our hands right on the floor, and then slowly bringing our elbows under shoulders, Pressing our palms down in front of us nice and wide and moving into Sphinx. So pressing down with our ears or down with our shoulders away from our ears. Inhaling as we lift the crown of our head up. Finding length, we want to feel this through the front of the body. If we're feeling squeezed through our vertebrae, maybe lowering down and focusing on the lift in our belly. Stretching through our abdominal muscles, our rectus abdominis. Taking one more breath here. Exhaling as you release the elbows out, stack the hands, set our right cheek down and bring our heels up and gently let our feet sway side to side. And then turning our cheek the other way. Coming back down with our feet, sliding our hands under our shoulders, and pressing all the way back into child's pose. One last visit here for today. We can keep our arms long, or maybe if it feels better, we bring our hands by our feet. Gently coming up, we're going to drop one hip and work our way onto our back. Walking our feet under our knees hip distance apart, and setting up for bridge. Inhaling as we tuck our pelvis, and roll our hips up to the sky, and holding our bridge today. As we hold, we're feeling work in our glutes, in our hamstrings, in our belly, and our quads. All 4 sets of those muscles are working. So anywhere that's not, say, oh, I don't feel this in the glutes, squeezing through the glutes, finding that work in each of those 4 areas. We could interlace our fingers behind our low back. We could reach up overhead. Any variation of bridge that feels good. Or we're feeling all 4 parts. Belly, glutes, hamstrings, and quads. All 4 of those major muscle groups working equally. Taking one more breath as we exhale, coming down one vertebrae at a time. Drawing our knees in one after the other. Dropping the backs of our thighs and bringing our feet to the ceiling, pressing our knees toward our shoulders. We find dead bug. Maybe rocking our dead bug side to side. Returning our hips back to center. If we can keep our hips down, we have the option to reach to our feet and find happy baby, or hook 2 fingers around our big toe and extend our legs long and find a big toe hold. Any variation that feels good today, giving ourselves a little bit of compassion. Bringing our feet together and slowly lowering them back to the floor with our knees open wide. We're finding a supine butterfly. And then very gently bringing our knees together and our palms together, inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we come back down. Taking 1 or 2 flows up and down through butterfly. And then finding a good space to take 10 breaths in our butterfly. Noticing what's working. Noticing which muscles are loose or tight. Breathing into that space that needs some extra support. Inhaling as we bring our knees back together, keeping our arms long. Making a T with our spine as we inhale, slowly lowering our knees over to one side and finding a twist here. If this twist doesn't feel good, we could always extend one leg and just bring one knee and hip across. Finding any variation of a spinal twist, we want to feel it in our mid-back, in our thoracic vertebrae. Looking back to our back hand, our shoulders are both connected to the floor. And when we're ready, inhaling, coming back to center, readjusting our hips if we need to. And then lowering down to the opposite side, finding our twist on that leg, that side of the body. Taking one more breath here. Inhaling as we bring our knees back up to the ceiling, toward the sky, readjust our hips. Maybe take any last posture we need to if we want to go into legs up the wall or shoulder stand. Releasing any tension that's in our spine and setting ourselves up for a final relaxation. Maybe we want a wide restorative bridge. Maybe we want to extend our feet long. Maybe we like supine butterfly. It can always be on our belly, on our side. Taking a moment to let go as we exhale, releasing our tensions. Breathing in. Compassion at the heart of every little thing we do. It is the dearest quality we possess. Yet all too often, it can be cast aside with consequences too tragic to speak of. To lose our compassion, we lose what it is to be human. Anonymous. Giving ourselves some self-compassion. As we breathe in, breathing in love, holding it in for just a moment, and exhale, releasing any tension that we're carrying, any fear, any stress, any anxiety. Taking one more moment for ourselves here in this relaxation, one more breath. And when we're ready, rolling onto one side. Giving ourselves some time here to become more aware of our surroundings. Take some deep breaths. And then when we're ready, pressing ourselves up into an easy seated position, growing tall, stacking our vertebrae, maybe rolling our shoulders